So did you ever have a desire to play the bagpipe?
Oh no. You need a lot of wind for that. Oh no, but I like to hear the bagpipes.
Where would you say your favorite place in Scotland is?
And my favourite place, I like Edinburgh. I'd say Edinburgh, really.
Why do you like Edinburgh?
Edinburgh, it's, well, the history of the castle and what do you call it, the St Giles's Cathedral, and there's quite a bit of history about it.
It's very moody, I think. It's very beautiful. And you haven't been up to the Highlands much, you said.
No, I don't go much up to the Highlands. When you don't drive a car, it's hard to get away up into the Highlands.
Yeah. Can you tell me anything about your grandparents? Who were they?
Well, I never knew my grandmother, but I knew my grandpa, Thomas Gary.
Your father's
my father's
father.
I knew him, and I didn't know my mother's family either. I never. She was a Mrs. Purdy, and my grandfather. No, I never ever met them.
They had already passed away?
They had always they passed away before I was born.
And what did your paternal grandfather do?
The one was a janitor at the school, and the other one drove the van for McCubbin, the grocers.
Wow. Wow, that must have been a really old car.
I know just that. It could have been a horse and cart for all I knew.
Yeah, probably
but I knew
was.
he delivered.
I bet it was a horse and cart.
Well, probably it would be a horse and cart.
Yeah. Do you remember horses on the street?
Yes, I remember when he cried. We had a fruiterer cried Bill Hayes that come round about the rows, and he had a horse and cart with his fruiters in it, with the fruit all on it.
Mm-hmm. So
not many after that.
Do you remember other people coming, like with milk or other things?
Kennedy the milkman came.
They would come around.
You took out with your jug, and he would
fill it up.
Fill it up with your jug. It wasn't milk bottles or anything like that. It was, you went out with your jug for a pint of milk or 2 pints. He came round about too.
And the reason was you didn't have a refrigerator. No one had refrigerators, right? What kind of stove did you cook on?
Stove.
Was it a wood stove
it was
or
the fire
a coal stove? I mean,
fire to start with, and it had an oven at the side of it because you got your miners got their coal.
Right.
So they did, and what they cried, you did. But then through time we got a cooker.
So when they delivered the coal, would they just dump it in your front yard and you'd take it to the back, or how did that?
Outside in the rows, they were outside. It was like at the wash house. And at the side, the coal sailors was all there too, and they dumped it at the coal sailor, and you had to put it in yourself.
So did you have your own wash house and coal cellar?
No.
Would you share the coal?
To share the wash house, you got a day each day for your washing, but the coal cellar, everybody had a coal cellar
of their own,
and the toilets were round the back. That you had your own toilet too.
So. When you were young, what did they use for toilet paper?
You know what we did?
What?
We cut up newspapers into nice squares and put a hole through them and put a bit of string on them.
Oh my gosh.
And tied it on to a nail at the back door of the toilet.
Wow.
And that's true.
And so, did you have I've heard of this in London, the night soil men coming by to empty the toilets? Do you know what happened to all of that stuff?
No.
You don't know what happened?
No.
It just went down into the ground?
Just we flushed. in fact, when it froze up in the winter time, you had to carry a pail of water round about for to
Oh,
flush
so
it.
it wasn't an outside toilet. It was plumbed. It
did
had water.
Flush. It did flush.
Okay. Yeah.
It did. You had your cistern on the top and you had to pull.
Oh, okay.
But it froze in the winter time. Really, we did get severe winters that we had to carry the pail of water
Oh my
round
gosh.
about to flush it.
So have you ever ridden a horse?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Interesting.
No. I have not.
What else can I ask you? What is your earliest memory that as a child? What's the
I always remember on a Sunday we went to the Sunday school, my two sisters and I, and we'd always got, it was my Aunt Hannah lived in the Masonic buildings and my grandpa lived with her, and we'd always to go through and see my grandpa, and Aunt Hannah would always have a bag of sweets and everything for us, and we thought that was just great.
And how old do you think you were?
Oh, not very old. I would be what? Well, I would be probably about. Hannah was very young at the time, so I would be what, maybe about 7 or 8.
Mm.
And then Hamilton would be about 5.
So you don't remember anything before you were 7? You remember school when you were 5.
I remember school.
Do you remember anything before school?
No, not much. I knew I lived at what we cry Temple Tune, and that's where I was born.
Do you remember that at all?
And
Playing there or anything?
It's just a big double-storey building I lived in, and it was only one apartment in it, but when Hamilton came, there were too many us for that, and we moved up into Dulcilla.
So describe Templeton. What it had? How many rooms?
Up in Dulcilla,
Yeah.
2. 1 bedroom and 1 living room
One.
and a back kitchen.
Wow. Was it smaller than where you live now? About the same size?
Just about the same size.
But another bedroom.
The kitchen was very small.
Yeah.
Kitchen was small. But there were, what would you call it, 2 beds were built-in beds.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That you had your partition and your bed, one bed was in there and another bed was in there, and the same in the room.
Like in a closet, kind of. Yeah.
Everything was built in.
And like back then, how often would you change your beds and launder the
Oh.
beds, would you say?
I would say about one bed would get changed 1 week, the next week, and
So it was still the same?
dependent on the weather
Oh,
to
yeah.
how you would do it.
Yeah.
And then you had to what? It was blankets you used then.
Oh, yes.
It wasn't like your quilts or that. It was